Well, welcome, Brent Hines, to the Wellness Law Podcast. I'm so excited that you are here joining me to talk about the intersection between wellness and law. And in this particular episode, we're going to actually talk about financial wellness. And as I was telling Brent before we hit record, I think there's synergy between having your financial house in order for your business or for your wellness program that's as important as having your legal house in order. And prevention is worth a pound of cure in both instances. So I'm really excited to learn more about Brent's career and his mission, which is he is the co-founder and chief development officer for the Foundation of Financial Wellness, which is an organization, a nonprofit, I believe, based in Denver, Colorado, and officially started in 2010, but actually kind of started a little bit earlier, which we will learn a little bit about. But Brent is responsible for the strategic direction and development of the organization while cultivating revenue streams and avenues for fundraising to further the overall mission for the Foundation for Financial Wellness. He is a professional speaker, best known for his ability to share a message that's relevant and relatable, which will be great for this podcast. He has an ability to engage and motivate each person. That comes from his willingness to share his personal life experience of loss and redemption, which led to the creation of the Foundation for Financial Wellness. So it sounds like there's a lot of really interesting backstory to this wonderful organization, which we're going to learn more about. So thank you again, Brent, for being here, and tell us how the Foundation for Financial Wellness came to be and why it came to be.
Well, thanks for having me. We love sharing our message. And yeah, what a great combination of your expertise on the legal side of wellness and the financial side of wellness. And for decades, wellness, as most people know, especially in the corporate space, if you were serving businesses and their people for their personal well-being or wellness programs, it was typically all the traditional topics of weight loss or smoking cessation, stress management, nutrition, those really important topics. And we tripped into it. I wish I could take credit for having been such the visionary to see the intersection of wellness and financing coming together. But really, it just fell in our lap. It was a real quick story, Barbara. It was in 2010. The vast majority of us that were in those early meetings in that boardroom, so that conference room, so to speak, when this got created, we all came from the financial industry. So I half joke, I am a recovering financial advisor from a prior life. I was and still am a total nerd when it comes to behavioral economics. And it tends to be really academic. It comes out of academia, a lot of white papers written, thesis out there around the intersection of psychology and behavior with the head knowledge of money. Because I had this belief, I grew up a poor kid, grew up in a home with a single mom. My dad was very involved and important to me, but lived out of state. And as I think back, Mom and I, we had a really unique relationship, really, in that it was more of a partnership. Especially the older I became, she was doing all that she could, to go earn and save and give me all the things that she wanted to give me. But as I think back to what we now refer to as our relationship with money, we had a really unhealthy relationship. So that's where my passion and kind of the fire in my belly came from, was growing up making mistakes. I still today, anytime I pull up to an ATM and put my card in, I have some of those same feelings, kind of that little pit in your stomach. Is the card going to work? And that literally comes from my childhood. I remember pulling up, my mom going, okay, come on, please work. And I don't think we were all that unusual.
Were you worried that there wasn't money in the account to draw from? Oh, okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So I love the behavioral side. And then I started, as I got into the world of, I got out of that socioeconomic condition, worked my way through school, got into the business school, the University of Colorado, Lead School of Business, and majored in finance. I think part of it was I just wanted to prove the world wrong. I wasn't, this poor kid that bounced, back and forth between apartments and rental homes and family basements as a child. And it just drove me to try to understand, why did so many of the kids that I grew up with, why did they view money so differently to me? Like, that was obvious. And I see people like do really well with money. Some people like money just shows up, and other people like are always struggling and there's never enough. And so we went down this behavioral finance path. The reason I tell you that is because right place, right time, right message. If you think back to 2010, it was the brand new Obama administration. And one of the things that they had done early in that administration was they announced that they were mothballing the space shuttle program at NASA. If you can kind of think back to those days.
Yeah.
My roots are in Houston originally, so I knew people in and around Johnson Space Center. I got in front of somebody in HR and I said, "Hey, what's this mean, like in terms of people's personal finances?" And she said, "We're going to be laying off somewhere between 5,000 to 7,000 people in about an 18-month window."
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, think of that from a logistical standpoint, an HR standpoint, a liability, legal standpoint. So all these people their lives are being totally just disrupted, to say the least. Like, a lot of them are in crisis. And I said, "Hey, look, a lot of these decisions that are going to need to be made by each individual, these are irrevocable. Like, you only get one chance to make the decision. And no decision is a decision," one of our cliches that we stole from General Patton, by the way. So the worst decision isn't the wrong decision. Oftentimes the worst decision is no decision, because there is a default. They're not just going to let you stand in stalemate or high centered. Like, there is a default if you don't choose. And I'll let you decide if you think the default option is going to be in your best interest or not. Right. So I kind of made that pitch to her, and she said, "I want to take you to our head of HR of Johnson Space." And I'm like, "Oh my God, that worked? I better get my act together here on what it is that we're doing." And we went to them with this behavioral approach. We're going to teach very differently, but we're also going to answer specific questions. We're just going to come at it from a very different angle. And Scouts Honor, we won't solicit, endorse, promote anything having to do with our private practice. If people want to come see us off-site, off the work site, great. That's on them. It has nothing to do with this program, or the wellness program, or Johnson Space Center, or NASA. So they ran it past legal, put some documentation in front of us. We signed off to say, promise we won't solicit or sell or endorse, and off we went. And that's where the beginning was, Barbara. The first class we taught was hosted by the lady who ran the wellness program at Johnson Space Center. Her name's Karen. She's literally a rocket scientist. She literally has degrees in things I can barely pronounce. But her field of expertise was in behavior change. And then she even had a clinical background as well. So she really knew her stuff. She was like perfectly built for wellness. She had been on console for years and then had moved off of console. You can only stay there so long because the burnout rate's so high. It's such high stress. And they asked if she wanted to run the wellness program. And I guess her response at the time was, "We have a wellness program?" That's how, that probably sounds familiar to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so she put on the class. The moral of the story is, I get up there, there's 30 people in the room. I deliver our behavioral finance, and we put it through the model of be, do, have. If anyone's familiar with that, 95% of all things financial education related, they go straight to the have. We would say that's the nuts and bolts of finance. Like, what's the 401k? What are the loans? What options do I have for rollover? What are the expense ratios inside of the mutual funds of my 401k? Like, all that stuff is really important. However, like, if we just go straight to the nuts and bolts, our belief is that, this came from the behavioral side, that's not enough. Because if education alone was enough, like, we would all be, you know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't have the financial distress. We wouldn't have the consumer debt. We wouldn't, we would all be financially healthy. So I had this belief that education alone is not enough. So today, another cliche of ours is, education without action is of little value. Oftentimes, education without action is called entertainment. And you can go get entertained a lot better places than in a conference room with me talking about money. So we took a step back and talked about the behavior of be, do, have. That's the doing, the behaviors, the good behaviors, the bad behaviors, and then probably most importantly, the missing behaviors. Those are oftentimes the worst. That's the no decision is a decision thing. And if you want to understand the behavior, you got to take one more step back to the being of be, do, have. What's going on in the 6 inches between our ears? This is what we refer to as our relationship with money. And all of the science, decades of it, pointing back to our beliefs about money and debt, and all things related with that, coming from authoritative figures in our lives. We were given those scripts, tapes, records. So we come out of our environment, whatever that is, and it drives our behaviors, and that becomes our reality that takes us to our results. And we deliver that message. Karen, our rocket scientist in the back of the room, has this epiphany. She almost tackles me in the hallway after the class and challenges me. She said, I love what you're doing on the behavioral side. And she said, why aren't you building this on a wellness chassis? I'm like, tell me what a wellness chassis is, and maybe I can figure it out. And she said, a wellness chassis is built on behavior change and analytics and measurements and making sure that we are helping people down. She introduced me to the behavior change model from Dr. Prochaska of stages of readiness. And it just blew my mind. So she had an epiphany, which then led to my epiphany. Karen began volunteering her time and coming to our office. Her words, she's an engineer, we began to re-gear our content so that it was built on a wellness chassis. And to finish the story, Karen loses all good judgment, like about 6 to 9 months later, puts in her resignation at NASA to join the crazy train of creating this new thing called financial wellness, the Foundation for Financial Wellness. We put it in a nonprofit. We applied to be a nonprofit. That got approved. We put all of our content inside of the nonprofit so that employers and individuals can feel confident and comfortable that this isn't just a sales technique, that we're not out there trying to sell mutual funds, annuities, IRAs, it's life insurance, et cetera. But we're going to teach them about healthy behaviors so that they then are fully equipped to go out and engage in those financial offerings out in the financial world, well educated and knowing the right questions to ask. So that's kind of the baseline for us. I promise I won't spend that much time on every question you ask, but hopefully that helps.
Yeah, no, that is a fascinating story. And I love that concept of building it on a wellness chassis. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, how my law firm is somewhat similar in that we're trying to help people who work in wellness have a mindset of prevention, of trying to be ethical and trying to mitigate risk before the risk is real, and understanding not only how to do that, but why it's important to do that. And because not only does it keep you out of legal trouble, but the way that many of the laws that we work with are written, they're written in a way to provide more inclusiveness in wellness programming, like a lot of the civil rights laws that we have to deal with, the Americans with Disabilities Act, the Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act, Title VII, age discrimination, and health status discrimination. If you truly embrace the concept behind why those laws even exist in the first place, and then apply that to your strategy to help people feel well, there's a real synergy there, because those laws are basically pointing you in the direction to embrace or include everybody, regardless of where they are at. Stop stereotyping, stop trying to get everyone to a certain ideal, but understand that we're all from these different backgrounds, and that we have to accommodate those different backgrounds. And by doing that, you get more buy-in, you get more participation, and the bonus is you're less likely to get a complaint, which would lead to some sort of legal action. So that's sort of our approach to wellness law. And I feel like with your behavioral economics background and approach to financial wellness, that there is some alignment there. I'm curious to know, based on what you said in your approach, could you walk us through an example? Like if someone's listening to this podcast right now and they are a wellness professional, let's say that they have their own wellness business, maybe they're a coach. How would you help them? What could you do for them to get them in a place where their business can be optimally successful?
So if someone is a wellness coach, we love that. That's like our ideal profile of people we want to know, because we view them like we can add value in one of three primary ways. One, we have created a financial wellness coach certification, and we built it with Dr. Michael Orlowski from Real Balance Global Wellness. It's accredited through the ICF. So we love training professional coaches because you don't have to be a financial guru to be a great financial wellness coach. We have this vision someday down the road. Hopefully it's like more like 5 years than 10 or 20, but someday it's not going to be uncommon for people to have a financial planner, licensed financial planner, and a financial coach, because they don't step on each other's toes. They actually complement one another.
Just like just like licensed healthcare professionals,
yeah,
unlicensed health and wellness coaches, they can complement each other.
Exactly. I mean, you have a primary care physician and you might have a trainer at the gym. The trainer at the gym shouldn't act like he or she is the doctor.
Right.
And the doctor might refer you over. Hey, tell me about your trainer. How are they credentialed? Are they licensed? What's their approach and philosophy? Like, they should complement one another. So this just not being afraid to refer out is a really powerful thing. So that's my first answer. One is a financial wellness coach. Now that's totally self-serving that I mentioned that because we just developed it and it launches September 1st.
Are you saying that a health coach could get the certification and add financial coaching to their wellness coaching services? Is that what
exactly?
Okay.
It should be one more arrow in your quiver as a professional coach. Yeah. Two is, a professional coach or a wellness coach is a person. They're an individual with their own stresses and their own challenges and their own goals and dreams. So we decided this past year that, since 2010, we've been building employer programs. So we'll go to the work site or we'll do something online. And we built out a really robust learning management system for the self-paced. But what we decided to do during COVID, actually, I had this almost awakening of, wow, I had no idea how much I need community until I didn't have it. Working out of the spare bedroom as a makeshift office was kind of cool. And I was really productive for about 30 to 60 days. And then I started realizing, God, I miss people. So we wanted to create community. So how can we do that? And we decided to build a membership site. And then we built for inclusivity and also for just like zero barrier to entry. Let's create a no cost like core membership where people can come in and really start to learn what it is that we're up to and begin taking advantage of some of all of our resources, whether it be education or tools or an assessment or all those items. And then also provide a premium membership, which is a whole lot more and access to more, but it shouldn't be all or nothing, which we talk about in terms of thinking, all or nothing thinking. A lot of your coaches will recognize that. So we wanted to be inclusive. We wanted to make it zero barrier to entry. So like as an individual, like come check out our membership, like come check out our community, get involved, like make comments, ask questions, use our stuff, take our class. We do live interviews. Like we do, even in the free core, I think we do 3 live events a month online. So as an individual, take care of yourself so that you can better take care of others. In an airplane, you're ready to take a flight on a commercial flight, and the flight attendants are walking you through the thing and they're reading their script. And if you were to lose altitude quickly, the oxygen masks fall down. We've all heard this. And what do they instruct us to do? To put ours on first before helping someone else, because we're no good helping others if we're not taking care of ourselves. This applies to our physical health, obviously, as well as our mental, occupational, spiritual, all the components of financial well-being, whatever model you subscribe to. We would say the same with financial wellness. You are a better coach if you're taking care of your own financial well-being. You are a better parent if you're taking care of your own financial. You're a better friend. You're a better philanthropist. You're a better coworker. You're a better employee. You're a better business owner. On and on. So take care of yourself. And then three, if you are a coach and if you do serve other people or other organizations, you can put us in your bag, so to speak. Like we work with channel partners all the time and we love it. Like there's actually a business model behind it. There's a revenue model behind it. So for people who really do buy into what we're doing and you want to get on team financial wellness, hey, there's still, spots open on the roster, so to speak. We would love to talk to you about how you could actually strengthen and grow your business by partnering with us. So those are kind of my three things. Two of those are totally self-serving, I'll admit, but that's my authentic answer.
Well, that's great. I mean, it's really powerful actually for anyone who's looking to deliver wellness services, whether it's with a one-on-one coaching session or it's in front of a group or contracting with larger companies delivering more worksite wellness programming, knowing that you can incorporate a financial wellness aspect to the services you deliver by partnering with the Foundation for Financial Wellness, I think is really powerful and gives so much more added value to what you can bring to either your clients, individual clients, or corporate clients.
Yep, we would agree. Yeah, you don't have to become an expert in this, or you don't have to go reinvent the wheel. We're here. We've got the battle scars. You don't need more.
Yeah. That's really, really good. So there you have two levels of membership. You said the core membership is free, and then
Correct.
there's a premium membership. So what does the premium membership get you that the core does not?
Well, the first answer would be more. So you get access to our entire library, whatever order that you need. And then there are more live events, whether there be spotlight interviews or Q&A with an expert. And then we have a couple of really cool pieces of financial technology that align perfectly with what we teach, like the philosophy aligns with us in the Be, Do, Have, which includes like a do-it-yourself financial planning component if you're not quite ready to get in front of a financial professional. And then an estate and financial organization. This is doing it such an injustice by calling it an organizational tool, but it's estate and legacy preparation, organization, and then like access for your loved ones. We built in a series called the Life and Legacy series, and it facilitates with the fintech and the education the conversations that we're oftentimes not having until we're in front of the estate planning attorney or until we're in front of the estate settlement attorney. And then it gets really awkward because our loved one has passed and we never really talked about it because it was an awkward topic. Or you might know this, Barbara, like the actual percentage, but there's some large percentage of like 30 or 40% of the hours spent by the attorney helping someone settle an estate is spent under the category of estate organization, like finding things or asking the questions, and it's so like you could have this so buttoned up. What like a beautiful last gift to give your family, your loved ones, of organization, and your wishes are absolutely crystal clear. And we even help facilitate the conversations of those decisions. So it's like you can upload anything multimedia. You can do a Zoom session with grandma or grandpa, or you can interview Dad, tell me about the Korean War or Vietnam, or like you can store old memories, photos, last wishes. The dog has medication. If something were to happen to me, please give her 1 pill a day or she has seizures. Like literally we're seeing things like where people are like, oh my God, you gave me such peace of mind because if something did happen to me, I take care of so many things in my life that other people don't even know about. And not everything has to be a novel or some beautifully written poem or last words. It's just getting things cleaned up, being responsible. Yeah, you know what I mean? Being a leader. So anyway, I kind of went on a tangent there. All of that and more is in the premium side. But if somebody did, can we give the website?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Foundation for Financial Wellness.org.
Yep. And
you can see
I'll have the link in the description.
Perfect. Yeah, you can see what's in core versus premium if you're interested.
Yeah. And how much is the premium membership? Does it say on the website? I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, it varies if you're an individual versus if you're part of a larger organization.
Ah,
Yeah, so
okay.
it ranges. It's dollars a month. It's not tens or dozens or hundreds. I mean, it's a few bucks a month. It's literally like a Starbucks or two
Oh, nice.
to be a premium member. Yeah, yeah.
Well, the estate and legacy planning alone would be worth that, to have access to all the tools and resources and the facilitation to get those important issues, which I agree most people put off, don't talk about it.
Right.
Guilty as I'm guilty of it too. It's not
Yeah.
fun, but if you have a resource and tools to help guide you through the questions and the documents. I know I have a lot of clients who are, have their own business, wellness business, and I occasionally get the question from them about, estate planning, like, well, what happens when, something happens to me and I can no longer operate my business? How do I make sure it's taken care of? And, sounds like your tools through the premium membership would be a great way for them to address those concerns, at least a starting point, a good starting.
That's right. At least to help you start thinking through it, right? And understanding the framework. And then it's not just this big monster, scary monster, this conceptual monster of, oh my gosh, I don't want to go down that path or have to pay for it, this CPA or the legal or, no, actually you can get really well educated and accustomed to the thinking and even some of the terminology. And by the way, I'm sure you would agree, Barbara, when you do get in front of the CPA or an attorney, I don't know, I've never met a CPA or attorney that would prefer an uneducated customer.
Yeah.
Right. Of course that they want somebody who it's just an easier conversation and we can do more together and be more accurate and get you what it is that you really need. So there's no need to be intimidated.
Be more efficient, which I think is key, because if
Yeah.
I don't know the statistic, but I'm not surprised if it's 40%. It could be higher of clients who go to an estate planning attorney. The attorney is spending a bulk of their time trying to just find things and get things in order. And if you have that done and then go to the estate planning attorney, you're going to save yourself a ton of money, because they bill, they typically bill by the hour, by the time spent. And if you save them time because you have things in order, your financial house in order, the legacy and estate plan in order, then there's not much left for them to do except, make all the filings that need to be filed, just that would be a minimal cost mostly.
Right.
So yeah, you're doing your financial house a favor in that way too, by taking those steps before you go spend money on having someone else do it for you.
Yep. We would agree.
Well, this has been extremely educational for me, and I imagine anyone who's listening is going to find it as well. So I will repeat your website address. It's foundationforfinancialwellness.org. I will be linking that in the description. Do you have any social media presence that people can follow you on?
We do. Yeah, all the majors, primarily LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. And then we're getting up to speed here. We're trying not to act like old people, and we get an Instagram account going as well.
If they search for Foundation for Financial Wellness on all of those social media platforms, they should be able to find you.
That's the easiest way. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Also, I can provide you a link, Barbara, if you'd like, in the show notes for our personal financial assessment. You can take it without any cost, any obligation. It's not a test. It's not good or bad. It's just a snapshot in time. It's like a financial X-ray. And then from that assessment results, they come back to you with recommendations, like a recommended path of getting educated and actions that you might think about taking next. That's available to anyone. So I'll be sure to send you a link to that as well. It's associated with the membership, but you don't have to get, of course, we want you to get engaged and active in the membership, but you don't have to. You can literally just do the personal financial assessment, PFA, and then take whatever action you're ready to take from there.
Great. Well, yeah, I'll definitely, you send me the link, I'll put that in the description so people can take that assessment, and get educated, more educated about their own financial situation, and then hopefully engage with your foundation, which is doing terrific work. So thank you so
We
much for
appreciate that.
sharing with
Thank you.
us that what you're doing. And I wish you and the foundation the best.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.